Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We are delighted to have one of our partners with us, Lanham Associates. Charlotte Kenny will be presenting on Start Anywhere and Grow, Lanham Supply Chain Extensions. And just as a reminder, we are recording this webinar, and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And if you do have any questions during our presentation, please feel free to type them into the questions box, and we will get them answered during our Q&A time at the end of our session. So now I'm going to turn it over to Charlotte to kick off our presentation.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you, everybody, for attending our session. Again, my name is Charlotte Kinney, and I'm the product evangelist here at Lanham Associates. And today I'm going to be presenting on the majority of the Lanham solutions. So before I get started, I do want to point out our Lanham Supply Chain wheel. I also want to point out that all of our solutions are embedded inside of Dynamics 365 Business Central and use the same interface and navigation. That's going to eliminate the need to interact with multiple applications, and it makes use easier for the Business Central user who already knows how to move around in their system. It also enables you to seamlessly and securely store all of your supply chain data in Business Central. Also, all of our products are available in extensions for on-prem, subscription, and the Microsoft cloud platforms. For the extension versions of the Lanham solutions, we do offer eventing, which allows for partner modification where needed. First, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this particular slide. This is the wheel diagram at Lanham, and it's the supply chain ecosystem, which shows our products in the context of the distributor's need. So the Lanham's customers are the distributors here at the center of this diagram. They receive from their suppliers over here and then deliver to their customers, who are often retailers. I'm going to start up here at Lanham EDI. It's represented at the top and extends and connects to all the places where the blue lines are. So EDI is electronic data interchange. We also have our demand planning solution, which combines forecasting and replenishment to help you understand your inventory needs so that you can get the right product to the right place at the right time. We also have our inbound container solution, which helps you track the on-the-water inventory and be prepared for what's coming in. That's typically found when you're receiving product from overseas that sits on the water for a while. Then we have, once our inventory is in, we offer e-receive to help you start barcoding and putting things away. For more complex and formal needs, we also offer ACE warehousing, which enables paperless warehousing and real-time inventory access. And then we've got our OWR, or Outbound Warehouse Request, which can be used with or without ACE warehousing. It gives you the ability to prioritize your outbound shipments through lots of predetermined parameters, or you can set your own parameters as well. One of the features worth noting is Outbound Pick Request, which provides order processing optimization, even if you do not have warehouse management systems enabled. And by that, I mean you've got inside of Business Central your zones and bins set up. It could be as simple as using the shelf number on the item record. Next, that takes us to eShip, which has been a flagship solution for a long time. Lanham offers the lowest cost for shipping in the cloud, beginning at $100 a month. Our solutions offer packing, shipping, rate shopping, and lots more. And you can also manage your shipping devices such as label printers, scanners, scales, and even dimensional scanners. And we end up back at the top with our managed EDI services, which is available through our Lanham Services division. They can outsource customers EDI and manage all the day-to-day operations if needed. So this represents the entire Lanham supply chain wheel, and as you can see, it's very comprehensive, but keep in mind, since these solutions are all built to work together, you can start anywhere and grow based upon your business needs. So today, I've got 3 highlights that I'm going to be talking about. Outbound Warehouse Request, which is a warehouse manager's bird's eye view of all outbound activity on one page. If you ship inside of Business Central, this should always be something that's considered. I was a former consultant, and anytime I had a distributor that I was working with, I would always recommend OWR. There's not a place in Business Central that gives you this bird's eye view. We also have ACE Warehousing, which is the new Lanham User Interface for mobile devices. I do have a lot of hardware at my desk. That's why I'm keeping my camera on. I also have a handheld mobile device, just like the one in my PowerPoint. And you'll be able to, I'm mirroring my screen. So whenever I'm doing some demoing, you'll be able to see that. And the next EDI, you can use using a 3PL and keeping inventory in sync across both ERPs. So I'll use EDI to bring in my orders. I do run EDI on the job queue. There's a lot of automation turned on, but just keep in mind the way that I have my system set up is just the way that it comes out of the box with some just minor changes that I make based upon personal preference. But know that the way that I'm demoing today is it can be changed. It can, the system's highly configurable. Everything's built inside of Business Central, so you can make changes as needed. And I'll kind of point out some things that I've seen out on the field that might be helpful. And with EDI, I will be processing a 3PL shipment. That's third-party logistics. That's where maybe you're on the East Coast, but you have a large presence on the West Coast. So you have a warehouse there, a 3PL there that will ship upon your behalf. So it's very important to keep your inventory in sync, and you're able to do that with EDI. So make sure that if you do select a 3PL, that they do have EDI as an option, because it's not just sales orders and letting them know what needs to be shipped and then they telling you whenever they shipped it. It's also physical inventory counts, or perhaps somebody broke a mirror. Well, we need to write that off of inventory. So being able to communicate that via EDI. Here's my contact information. I don't like to do a lot of PowerPoint because I think with the time that we have, the majority of people like to actually see the product. So I'm going to sign back into Business Central. I will be playing several different roles here. Let me change my date. But I'm going to be using the role center for the Outbound Warehouse Request Manager because that's kind of in the middle. And but Lanham does offer role centers for all of their products. So this is the role center for the warehouse manager. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I actually used EDI to bring in some orders. And I'm going to filter by all my orders for today. Okay, so I brought in some orders for my trade partner Test Retail. I do want to point out that we have maps for each individual trade partner rather than a master map. With a master map, believe me, I wanted that to work. EDI is my background. I have 12 years EDI senior specialist behind my back, and I would have liked the master map to work, but if you change it for one trade partner, of course, it affects all of them, and that seemed to have some adverse effects. So there's one map per trade partner, and you can house all of their maps under that one particular trade partner. So I've got a trade partner out here called Test Retail, and as you can see, it brought in some orders. Basically, inside of Business Central, you'll have your map, your cross-reference engine, and then we're going to translate those files. So from my EDI received document list, I can go to the list fields, and this shows my map, the segment, element, and field name, and this field text value is what was received in on the file. I'm not going to get into too much of the mapping, but just notice here the external document number. For the external document number on the sales header, that's where you put the customer PO number, and so whenever we look at the sales order, you'll see this PO number ending in -1. We do have a very extensive cross-reference engine. So for customers, items, unit of measure, and then a general cross-reference for things like shipping agent and service, all that good stuff. So from here, I can actually see on this fact box over here, all the sales orders that were created. And I did change my PO number. So the PO number is going to be Anovia 003. So here's my sales order. Once the Lanham products are loaded inside of Business Central, you'll notice some new fields, and I have personalized my screen. So you'll notice these fields that start with EDI. So I've got my EDI ID. I've got the EDI item cross-reference. So that's their part number, and that cross-references to my part number. Then I've got quantity, then I've got unit of measure. That's my unit of measure, and this is their unit of measure. Pieces and eaches are the same, but they're not the same word, so you do have to cross-reference them. There's also, we can do some calculations, whereas if they order in eaches, but you want the case pack on the sales order, you can do that as well. Then over here, we've got the my unit price, and then we've got the EDI unit price. And as you can see, there's discrepancies here. So right here, I've got the EDI price discrepancy field enabled. And if there is a price discrepancy, I could have set up my system so that I'm not able to release this to the warehouse until the discrepancy has been resolved. Obviously, I'm using demo data, and I do not have that feature turned on. So those are some of the sales line fields. If we scroll down, here is the Lanham eShip Fast tab with all the Lanham fields for shipping. So actually in my map, my 850 that came in, I cross-referenced their shipping agent and service, so it's UPS ground. And then here is, I can tell that this is an EDI order because it says so here. And then this is the EDI trade partner, and then their sell to and ship to. And we also do support ship for if you're doing shipping to a DC. Okay, so as far as this goes, what I would do next is release it. Now I'm going to show part of OWR. Okay, so OWR will help the customer service representative, because while I'm on the sales order, once I release it, I can see the status right here, and it says partially shipped. So I can only ship 23 of 30. So let's go see what that looks like. And I do want to point out that I do not have warehousing enabled. I'm just using the shelf number on the item record, so no advanced warehousing. So if I come here, I can see the products that I'm shipping, what's outstanding, and what's available. So I do not have any of the bike, okay? I can also see, what the available amount is to ship. So at that point, as the CSR, I could make a determination what I'm gonna do, maybe just back order it or not. So I'm gonna, I've released this. And one thing I also wanna point out with our OWR solution is that we do a soft allocation of inventory. And what I mean by that is, I don't have it, once I create the OWR pick for the sales order, it will allocate that inventory so that if a subsequent order comes in ordering these same products, then that will be deducted from the allocation. Also, another thing that I think is very helpful with the OWR solution, with the base nav solution, when you go to print the pick instructions, and this again is not using any warehousing, just the shelf number, you'll see that it printed the bike on here. Well, I already know I don't have any of the bike. So why am I going to send my warehouse person out there to search for something that doesn't exist? So just notice that that is the base Business Central pick ticket. Now we're going to switch over and create the OWR pick. Okay. So I'm going to close this down, and I'm just going to go back to the main screen, and I'm going to go to Outbound Pick Request. So now I'm taking the role of the warehouse manager. So this is the bird's eye view that I'm talking about. As you can see, I've got several outbound activities. I've got sales orders, transfer orders. These are the order numbers, the customer PO number, the location. So you'll see I've got a red location and some blue location. Well, I don't even work at the red location, so I really don't want to see that in here, and I'll show you how to set that up. The ship to address, we'll look at these action codes. I've got my shipment date and shipping agent and service. Okay. So the goal of this screen is to create a smaller data set. Okay, so there's a lot of orders in here. I'm sure you'll have a lot more in your live data, but I just want to see the blue location. So I'm just going to come in here, and once I do that, it's filtered all of this, so I'm just looking at the blue location. That's great, but let's take it another step further. And so in here, in your filter codes, the warehouse manager, we're going to try to take all of the things that the warehouse manager has up here as far as what they do for creating their picks throughout the day and put it in the system. And so let's go look at this one that I just called Blue Plus. So as you can see here, I'm just going to go over the high levels of what's typically used, because what I've seen on the field is, it's noon and the UPS driver arrives at 2. So I want to create all my picks for shipments that need to be shipped out today that are UPS. So that's one type of filter that you can have. So I would have several of these different filters listed here. So this one that I've created, as you can see, I'm filtering on the blue location. I'm looking at all types of orders. sales orders, purchase return orders, and transfer orders. I just want the released ones. And over here, you can see that I have a shipping agent code filter of UPS, Pipe, FedEx. So if it's UPS or FedEx, I want that on my list. And then right here, I've got my from and to shipment date range. Okay, so I left the from shipment date range open because if I haven't shipped it yet, I need to get it out. And then the to date range, so I just put plus 3 days, so 3 days out. And then you'll see it came up with this date range right here. So today's the 20th, so the 23rd, okay? And then that's really all the filtering I'm going to do, but I do want to come down to here in the limits section because you do have the ability to set limits. So there's a minimum, maximum on different scenarios. So maybe, you know, I want to see minimum and maximum available amount. The product that I do have available to ship, I want it in this dollar range. Maybe it's the end of the month and we want to get all of our high dollar orders out. You can set that here. We've also got quantities. We've got weights, so gross weight, net weight, and volume. Maybe I want all of orders that are 4 pounds or less. I want to ship those out. You can set that. And then I like this one here, the minimum total available percent. So let's say I put 75% in there. If I have an order that I can ship at least 75% of that order, it'll reflect in here. You can also filter on EDI orders. And if you need to take the shipping agent all the way, you know, how I'm filtering UPS and FedEx, if I need to take it down to the service level, so maybe next day air, I could do that as well. But just wanted to point those out. I'm going to keep it just like I have it here. And so once I select Blue Plus, now I have an even smaller date range. Okay, and here's my 2 Anovia orders. Okay, a couple other things you can do in here. I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard to highlight all of these. So much like we saw on the sales order itself, where you could see the statistics, you can come in and see multiple statistics. So this takes all of the items and all of the quantities and adds it up on all of those orders that I have highlighted, and then it shows me what I have available. So basically, I've got, you know, I can partially ship 38 of 48. I don't have any bikes, as we saw earlier. Okay. So that's helpful. Next, I want to point out these action codes. So right now, I don't have any set. If I come up to action codes, and you hover over these action codes, it'll tell you what they mean. But basically, I'm going to go ahead and set action for all available. And this one, this is the order that we were looking at earlier. This other Anovia order that I have, I do have everything available. So you can set action codes like that or back orders. So this is an old order back here, these two. So I've got some back orders on there. And then you can further define it to come say, give me all action codes of back order. And so now I have a smaller data set. Then I could hit, you know, create pick. That's ultimately what we're going to do. Let me take that filter off. So action codes are helpful. Priorities, the customer test retail has a priority of 1 because I set that on the customer record and it flows through to here. I can come in and edit this manually, or you can highlight multiple orders and set the priority. And that will allow me to, again, filter for priority 1, maybe create a combined pick for that, and then come back and create a separate pick for these priority 3s. So we're going to end up creating just a pick for just this one particular order, but do know that you can create combined picks. So these 2 are going to the same customer. I could go combine them into one pick, go pick them, and then use eShip to do a multi-document shipment if everything can fit in one box or one pallet. So you can do things like that. Okay, there's so much more that you can do in here, but in general, if you're shipping in Business Central, I highly suggest giving OWR a look as far as what's going to be added in your database. So I'm just going to come here and hit create pick, and when I do that, it shows me that the pick is created. So let's go look at that. I could print this, but I'm not going to because I'm using handheld mobile devices. But this is what it looks like, and you'll notice the bike is not on here because I don't have any of the bike. This inventory has now been softly allocated, so if I create another pick for these items, this inventory has already been allocated. And then I also have the shelf number that is maintained on the sales header. On the item record. Okay. All right, so I've got my pick, and next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the role of the warehouse employee. Okay, and so this is, let me refresh. So what you're seeing on the screen is what I see on my computer, on my handheld mobile device. Do note that these support Android and iOS. Basically what you do is you go out to the App Store and download Business Central, make a secure connection to Business Central, and then from there you'll see this screen. And this is what you see the first time you log in. I'm going to select which device I'm working. That's kind of like my permissions on this device. And then I'm Charlotte. It doesn't have to be a named user. It could be handheld number 1. And then the location. So notice that I have all of these locations, but I'm just working in the blue warehouse. So that's going to filter all of my data by the blue warehouse. But note, you can come in, if you do have multiple locations in your database, you can change your location rather easily. So once I've done that, you'll see there's my warehouse activities. Okay. You can actually, under receiving, you can receive from a purchase order directly. We do offer our e-receive solution. That's used if you need to create barcodes, over receiving, that type. But you can, if you don't need e-receive, you could just use ACE warehousing to receive directly off the PO. So you could walk into the truck, pull out your pallet and start receiving. We do support production orders, and then the inventory movements, that's more for advanced warehousing. I'm just trying to show you what the screen looks like. We do bin counts, but you have to have bins set up in Business Central. And then if I click the meatballs down at the bottom right, the 3 little dots, you'll see I can do bin content lookup if I have bins. I can do my physical inventory journal, so I can see that. License plating, toting, so that's pick to totes. And then right here where it says my settings, you'll see this role center. Like I showed you inside of Business Central on my computer, I was using the OWR role center, and here I'm using the mobile user. So basically that's what it is. It's a mobile, the Microsoft mobile user that gives us this look and feel of Business Central taken out on a handheld mobile device. Okay, so now let's go pick this product. I'm going to go to warehouse pick request. You'll see I've got 2 out here. We're working on that last one that ends in 31. So I'm just going to swipe over to the right. Okay, and these screens are configurable. You have 5 lines, but you'll see it says more lines available. If I click on that, I can see, handle quantity. So past tense, what I've already handled. But these are configurable. So it's telling me to go to shelf B01 and grab part number 74,000. Okay, so B01, part number 74,000. Okay, and it's asking me how many I'm handling, and I'm handling 6. Now just note, I could have set up my system to where I scan 74,000 6 times. I just have it prompting me for quantity. Now it's telling me to go to shelf A5 and get part number 74010. Okay. And I'm supposed to handle 12 of these. And then part number 74041, which is on shelf C01. Okay, and I'm supposed to handle 5 of those. Okay, now it says the document's been completely handled. Okay, and then I'm going to go to menu. And then right here where it says register doc, I'm just going to slide that over to the right. Okay, so that's done. I have picked all my products, brought it up to the shipper, which could be the same person, it could be somebody else. Okay, and I'm going to come back into Business Central, and now I'm taking the role of the packer, and I'm going to use pack line scanning to pack our products. Just note, this is more for a product that is already barcoded, which mine is. We do have a screen that's more keyboard entry if your product is not barcoded. So you have 2 options when it comes to packing. Here it's asking me what eShip COM I'm using. eShipCom is an app that gets installed on the computer of the person doing the shipping. That gives me access to my label printer because Business Central is in the cloud. I need stuff to print out at my label printer. And as you'll see, I've got my label printer specified here. It also communicates with scales, PDF printers, and iDimension scales. Okay, all right, so I just do that for the first time that I log in. So this is what pack line scanning looks like. You have a list of Lanham barcode commands, and I print out the ones that I use the most and stick them on the monitor of the shipper just so that they have everything nearby. And just note that you can make some of your own barcodes, which I have. In my virtual warehouse, I have my standardized box sizes, and so I created commands that set the box size, or it could be pallet size, so whatever the information is. From here, I've got my product in front of me. I can either scan in the sales order number, I can come here, the ellipse, and look up the sales order number, whatever information you have in front of you. And there's our sales order. These are comments. You can turn that off if you want. Okay, and so now I'm going to pack box number 1. Okay, so I've got my product in front of me. And there we go. Okay, and it's prompting me for quantity. I've got 5 of these. Okay, and just note if you were to scan in something that's not on the sales order, or if I were to try to scan that in again, and say 2, it's going to say overpack. So we do have checks in the system. So let's just say that that box is full. I put all my products in that box or pallet. It's full. I cannot print. I cannot add any more. So I'm going to scan this command called Xbox A, which sets my box sizes. Then I'm going to scan a command that says close package print. At this point, we're communicating with UPS, and it's going to print out my labels. So this is my UPS label. And then this is an EDI customer, so this is their UCC or GS1 128 label. So I put that on the box and move it down. I could go through and scan the rest of the items, or I have a command that's just pack remaining. So just throw the rest of the stuff in the box. And so now I'm going to run scan my box command. Okay, my close package print. And then my close order command. Okay, and so I got my second set of labels. I put those on the box and move it down the line. Just note that we do communicate with UPS and FedEx and USPS via web services. So those things that you're used to seeing, such as all of your options, such as large packages, Saturday delivery, all of those things that add to those accessorial charges, we have those in the system as well. I also have my, whenever I ran the close order command, that posted the shipment and the invoice just because I have it set up to do so. And I also have this customer set up to receive emails. So you'll see this is just the out of the box email. This is typically a hyperlink to where the user could click on that and it would open up the UPS website and track it based upon that tracking number. I should be getting an invoice email shortly, but it's very similar. So just to sales shipment. Okay, so let's go look at the posted sales shipment because that is posted. You'll see over here on the right, we've got our posted packages. Each package contains the items that are in the box. You have the ability to track the package, which will open up the UPS website and track it for you, all within Business Central. And then you have all of your shipping charges. If there was any accessorial charge, that would be added there. And then here's all my box sizes that were used whenever I scanned my Xbox A command that set my standard pack size. I'm sorry, my standard box sizes. So all that's contained in Business Central. We also support bills of lading. So had this been a truck shipment, so all of that fully supported. So hopefully that gives you a good bird's eye view of just the what it looks like to ship inside of Business Central using all the Lanham products without warehousing enabled. If you do have warehousing enabled, we support that as well. I was just keeping things very simple. The last thing I want to do is go back to EDI because I do have out here my trade partner called 3PL Cust. This was an inbound 850 that created these 4 sales orders. And these orders went out to my trade partner, my 3PL trade partner, and you'll see that it also created an EDI warehouse ship generated, which is a 940. So that's basically telling the 3PL what to ship. Okay, so I've got a lot of automation turned on, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to receive in. So I sent those files, the 940s, to the 3PL, and then the 3PL is responding back saying that they shipped it. I've got a lot of automation turned on, so let's see what happens when I bring that in. I do have EDI running on the job queue, but I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to kick off because 1 minute during a demo can seem like a long time. You can see that it's working on a lot of generations back here. So I'll kind of tell you what it's doing. The 3PL replied back. They packed those 4 shipments, and each shipment contains multiple packages. They sent us the tracking number and the UCC or GS1 128 number. All of that is being created behind the scenes. So just as if I manually pack the package, which I just showed you on our previous example, same thing happened, okay? So if I come back here, you'll see that the test warehouse replied back. It can be an 856 or a 945. But then if we come here to 3PL Cust, all of those orders are gone because they've been shipped and invoiced. Okay, while I'm talking, it's gonna, job queue is probably gonna run to send out the ASN to the customer on the sales order, and also to send the, that's an 856, and to also send the invoice, which is an 810. One of the things that's really nice about Lanham's EDI is the tracing capabilities. So I can come here to trace, and I can see everything that's happened with this order. So I can see all of the posted sales shipments. So we had 4 orders, we have 4 posted sales shipments. Where did they go? Let's see. Posted sales shipments, so we just do it right here. Okay, there we go. And so you can see for each shipment, I've got all my packages with all my package detail information, okay? And then I've got the 4 invoices. So that all happened automatically using the job queue. And if I come to that, those were the EDI received documents. If I go to the EDI send documents, these are all the ones that I did today. Well, let's see. No, these are not all the ones. I need to set a filter. Filter by sent date today. Okay, so still quite an extensive list. If we just come down here, here's the, see, these are all for 3PL Cust, and these are all 856s and 810s. Just like on the receiving side, you can see the map and the translated data. You can also see it on the outbound. So if I click here for this particular 810, this is using my map, and then this is the field text value. So this is actually what went out. I can, from inside of the send document, view the file, and this is what the EDI file looks like going out. We support X12, Edifact, XML, CXML, CSV files. So we support a wide range of files, file formats, and different industries as well, such as grocery store, retail, automotive, etc. So you can see all of that. And the last thing I want to show, because I did want to stress keeping inventory in sync across 2 different ERPs. So my Business Central ERP system, and then my 3PL's ERP system, whichever system they're using. As long as we're able to trade back and forth, we can keep inventory in sync. So if I go back to my received documents, earlier I received in an 846. And so they made some sort of adjustment. So from here, I can, excuse me, I can trace, and I can see that it created a Lanham location inventory advice. And this is where we just bring in the data and kind of perform calculations and translations and all of that. But then from this, inside of Business Central, using the Business Central item journal, we can show the batch. And I can see here for this part number, they are doing a positive adjustment of 2,200. I'm not sure why. And then they're also doing a positive adjustment of this shelf right here for the blue location. So whenever I post this, it's going to increase my perpetual inventory by these amounts. But it didn't automatically post it. You know, somebody probably needs to review this before it actually gets posted. So those are some of the other things that you can do with EDI as it pertains to a 3PL. Also want to point out that we support EDI on the vendor side. So if you have vendor managed inventory or you want to start sending 850s to your vendor, we support that as well. So not just sales side, it's also purchase side, and then some of the things in between. So really dealing with retail stores, they want to know, you know, sales price catalogs, they want inventory advices. We do support those as well so that you can let your trade partner know what you have in stock and what their prices are. And just on that inventory advice, you don't have to send them 100% of your inventory. In fact, you probably would not want to do that. So with the Lanham EDI solution, you can send a percentage of your inventory. So I hope that helps you out. So main thing, OWR, bird's eye view of all outbound activity to create your picks. ACE warehousing, we have the new user interface with the Roll Center on the handheld mobile device. And there's a wide variety. This is one mobile device that I have. As long as it's Android or iOS, a fairly recent version, then you'll be able to use that. And then lastly, when using EDI, making sure that you keep your inventory in sync with your 3PL. So I think that is about it. And I'm going to wrap that up and ask Angie if there have been any questions.
Thank you, Charlotte. We do have one that came through. Is lot tracking supported in the warehouse and or shipping?
Okay, good question. Yeah, I didn't have any lot tracking turned on for my products, but the answer is yes. And I'm going to separate the warehouse and shipping just because kind of have to. And it also depends upon how your warehouse is set up. But yes, inside of Business Central, if you are doing advanced warehousing and you're using warehouse lot tracking in the warehouse, we do support that. Business Central supports it, we support it, and you can scan it out. So you know, that is definitely supported. And then as far as shipping, if you want to ship out the lot number, eShip supports that as well. So there's actually a field on the item record that prompts you for this. And because there's the base Business Central, and then there's also the Lanham eShip. So here's an item record. Once our product is loaded inside of Business Central, you'll get this nice little eShip fast tab. And right here, you'll see the eShip tracking code. And I have one that's just simply called lot. And whenever I go in here, it's going to show me that whenever I'm doing packing, I'm going to pack the lot number, and then I'm going to send that over to the sales order so that whenever perpetual inventory is relieved, it relieves that particular lot number. And then same with the receiving. So that's how we manage that. And then while I'm here, I just want to point out, like I said earlier, we do support international shipping. So USMCA, certificate of origin, and commercial invoice. We do support hazmat and eShip agent options. So if you're shipping this particular item via UPS, and you know it's always a large package, if you set it up on the master record, that's going to flow through to shipping. So whenever the shipper actually goes to ship it, they don't have to remember to select large package. That's an accessorial charge, and that's going to add to the cost of the shipment. And so you want to make sure that you have it set up here so that whenever shipping is added to the sales order, if you do like prepay and add, that it takes into consideration that accessorial charge. And also we have this same type of information at the customer level. So you can set up your customer, maybe they always want an adult signature, or they want notifications from UPS. You can set that up on the customer record so that whenever you create sales orders and flow through to the system, it will automatically be set up for the shipping department to do that. So good question. Yes, lot tracking is supported. You can do lot tracking on the inbound and outbound only. You can do lot tracking inbound, outbound, and warehouse, or you can do lot tracking on just the shipment. So an example of that is I don't really need to be able to reconcile in my warehouse or anywhere else, other than maybe like for warranty information. I want to capture some sort of number and put it on the package so that when that customer comes back and says, they need some warranty work, you didn't have all the overhead of lot tracking throughout the entire system. You just had it on the package on the outbound. So that gives you, there's a lot of flexibility. And again, our system is very highly configurable. What I showed today was just one way of the multitude of ways to pack a package, use EDI, use OWR. So I did have my contact information up there if you have any questions. But with that, I think, were there any other questions, Angie?
Not at this time, no.
All right, well then, I guess I'll give you your last 2 minutes back.
All right, well, thank you, Charlotte, for presenting. And for everyone on our webinar today, or if you're watching on demand, we thank you for taking the time out to join us. And you can also check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's innovia.com/events. We also have our training workshop page, and that's innovia.com/workshops. We have a variety of workshops to fit your role, so check out the ones that are right for you and your team. And if you have not heard our latest Innovia Conversation podcast, we have a library of episodes for you to listen to, and you can learn more on our podcast page at innovia.com/podcast. So browse our selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. And we do have some exciting news about our customer conference as well as our conferences in 2023. So visit our conference page at innovia.com/conferences to learn more. All right, well, we thank you again, everyone, for joining us. Thank you again, Charlotte, for presenting today. And we look forward to seeing you soon at another Innovia webinar. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Charlotte.
Bye, thank you.